Well, hello, welcome again to a reading through of 2 Timothy, and I got up to chapter 2, verse 14. Tauta hypomimneski diamatruominos enopion to theou me logomakain epiuden kresimon. And I'll just pause there because it's a page to be turned. So you get an imperative here, call to mind these things, from hypomimnesko. Diamatruominos is from diamatruomai. It's the middle here. It means to declare solemnly. So it's almost promising or declaring solemnly enopion before God. Me logomakain. It's a verb meaning, well, the meaning's fairly obvious. It's logos and makio. It has the sense of to engage in controversy, to make an argument with words, to engage in argument with controversy and so on. The verb only here in the New Testament. Ep udon kresimon, to know good, so to know good purpose. So hence declare solemnly before God, not to indulge in controversy, to no good end, we might say. Epi, kata, it's almost resulting in no good thing, for that use of epi there, and that continues in the next bit. It's epi catastrophe tone akuontone, and resulting in, now the word here, we get of course catastrophe from this. It means something like subversion, pulling down, so resulting in perhaps the subversion of those hearing. So it's only here in the New Testament. It's common enough in the Septuagint. So it's to the subversion of those who hear. Spudason siauton dokimon parastesai to theo, ogatein anepaiskunton, orthotomun ton logon tes aletheas. So this is from spudasdo, to work hard, to be keen, can mean to make haste. So something like, I think it's sometimes translated as steel yourself. So make yourself keen to stand beside God, stand before God, dokimon, approved. Dokimos, it's a word which turns up in various parts of the New Testament. It has the sense of to be put to the test and having passed, so it means approved, checked out almost, to put it in modern parlance. An ergotan, a worker who is not to be put to shame. It's alpha privative, and then we get epi, and then that iskud root there. It's only here in the entire Greek Bible, this word, so not to be put to shame. Then we get this very funny expression upon which much has been written. The exact meaning is not exactly clear. It's orthotomunta. The roots of it are fairly clear. It's rightly cutting, rightly dividing, from temno, to cut. So rightly dividing, literally the word of truth. Some take it to mean moving in a straight line, or sort of laying out a straight path. But if that were the case, you might have expected hodon rather than logon here. It's only here in the New Testament, but does occur twice in the Septuagint. Tas de bebelus kenophonias peri istaso. So peri histanai, this verb means to avoid. It's only here and at Titus 3:9 in the New Testament. So it's sort of caused to sort of go around, avoid something. So it's something that's an imperative here. So avoid, second person singular imperative, avoid the kenophonia. These are babbling. So, and then we get that word bebelos, which is to termination. So it's something like avoid profane babblings, and it's plural here. epipleon ga prokopsusin asebeas. Although there's a semicolon here, we do get an explanatory ga here, so it's something like for. Now the verb here is prokopto, which means to proceed, to go ahead of. It's probably a sort of semi-military term of cutting through a field, hence the copto route, but it simply it comes to mean to proceed further. And then the epipleon even is the further part of it, I suppose. For they will proceed further, and it's they because it's the agreeing back with this tas kenophonias. So for they will proceed further into or in ungodliness, asebeia. It's presumably it's not clear who the subject of the they are. Some have taken it to be false teachers, but it may simply be that this referring back to this babblings in the plural. So for these babblings will only take you down the path of impiety. Will take you even further down the path of impiety. Kai halogos auton hos gangrina, nomen hexe. Amazing expression here. Gangrina, as you might guess, is gangrene. It's only here in Biblical Greek. It's used in medical writers to describe a disease which eats away at the flesh. And nomen here is the word for pasture. It's not the nomos, it's nomen, it's the word for pasture. Hexe, future from echo. So it's literally the teaching of them. This presumably is the false teachers. So their teaching literally will take hold or will have nomen, a pasture like gangrene. So it's we have to paraphrase it here as something like their teaching will take hold like gangrene, or their teaching will have a pasture, a place where it can spread like gangrene. It's very dramatic metaphor here. Hon estin, among whom, well it is, but it would say are, Hymenaeus and Philetus. Hymenaeus was mentioned in 1 Timothy 1:20. Philetus is mentioned nowhere else. Hoitines periten alethean estokesan legontes ten anastasin ede gegonenai kai anatrepusin ten tinon pistin. These are the very ones who, so they who, this is from that astokio word which we've already seen in 1 Timothy 6:21. It means to be wide of the mark. So for the very ones who have gone wide of the mark in regard to the truth, saying that the resurrection already to have occurred. Kai anatrepusin, anatrepo, another word for subverting here, again only here in the New Testament and in Titus 1:11, but common enough in the Septuagint, from anatrepo. So they subvert the faith, tinon, of certain ones. This is enclitic, hence the accent here. So they subvert the faith of certain people. Homen toi stereos themelios to theou heste ken ekern ten sfragida tauten egno kurios tus ontas autou kai apostato apo adikias pas ha onomasdon to onoma kuriou. The hot goes with the themelios, the foundation. So it's mentoi, however, the strong, stereos, themeliot, foundation of God stands, hesteka, having this seal, this sfragis, having this seal, and we get a quotation now from, I think it's Numbers 16:5. So the Lord knows those being of him. So the Lord knows his own. And apostato, imperative. So it's let him. It's a third person imperative. Let him stand aloof. Let him stand away from. Sorry. Let everyone naming the name of the Lord. Let him stand away from unrighteousness. En megale de oikia ugestin monon skue crusa kai agura ala kai xulina kai ostrakina kai hartmen es timen hade es atimian. We get a nice men and det construction here, which you don't use very nicely. Not that common in the New Testament. Not totally uncommon, but here it's very nicely done here. So in a great house, there, well, it's neuter plural, so singular verb. There are not only vessels, skue, neuter plural from skuos, third declension, vessels of gold and silver, but also xulina of wood and ostrakina. You know, with ostrakon, it means an earthenware. So of wood and of earthenware, and some of them, understand, are for you to be used for honour, and some for dishonour. So of these various skue, some are used for honourable means, and some for well, dishonourable. He's probably thinking here of a chamber pot or something. Ean un tis ek kathare, hiauton apotuton estai skuos es timen, hagias menon, eu chariston, to despote, es pan ergon agathon, he toi mas menon. If therefore someone, this is from ek plus kathairo it must be, to cleanse. So if someone then has cleansed himself from these things, he will be a vessel for honour. Hagiasmenon, perfect passive participle, having been purified, and eukreston, very useful for the master. For every good work, prepared, from hetoimasto again, so perfect passive participle from hetoimasto, having been prepared for every good work. Tas de neo terikas epithumias fuge, dioke de dikaiasunein pistin agapein erenein metaton epikalumenon ton kurion ek katharas kardias. So the main imperative here, fugo, avoid youthful passions. This is from neoterikos. You can see the neos, young here, and epithumia, passion. So avoid youthful passions. Pursue, and we get another list again without commas or connectives, righteousness, faith, love, peace, along with those who are calling upon the Lord, ek, probably with or from a pure heart. Tas de moras, tas de moras kai apaidutus seteses paraitu, eidos hoti genosin makas. So the main verb here is paraitu. This is paraitio. So avoid or refuse. Now I think the tas in the previous page goes with the seteses. This is accusative plural from setesis, meaning disputes or arguments. So avoid foolish and, well, ignorant, perhaps uneducated disputations or arguments. This word's perfectly reasonable Greek, but it's only here in the New Testament. Knowing that, now genosin is from gen-nao, it's that verb of begetting. So knowing that they beget, makas, well, quarrels, perhaps literally battles or fights. Fights might be good here. Doulon de kuriou ude makestai ala apion enai prospantas didacticon an exikakon en praute ti paigion tetus antidia tithemenus me poti doe autois hotheos metanoian eis epignosin aletheas kai anna nepsosin ectes tu diabolu pagidos etsogre menoi hubautu esto ekain no u thelema. Where was I up here? It is not necessary for a doulon, a servant of the Lord, makesthai, to fight, because he said avoid all these things because they lead to fights. It is not necessary for the doulos of God, of the Lord, to fight, but to be apion, but to be gentle towards all people, didacticon, keen to teach, unexikakon, not elsewhere in biblical Greek, this word. It means literally something like forbearing, putting up with evil. It's from ana plus the echo root and kakon. So often translated forbearing, it's putting up with wrongdoing. As I said, not elsewhere in biblical Greek, but the abstract noun corresponding to this does occur in the Wisdom of Solomon 2:19. So it's something like forbearing. Now, paideuonta, it's educating those who are opposed with meekness. So with meekness, educating those that are opposed. It's anti plus dia and then tithemi. Me poti doe. Now this again is here an optative. Now the me poti is slightly odd here. It's got the sense, it is that classical use, if perchance. It's not used again in this way in the New Testament, so it's not never, but it's perchance God might grant to them. So it's almost would that perchance God might grant to them repentance for or resulting in the full knowledge of truth. Kai ananapho. Now, napho occurs in the New Testament. This word ananapho literally means to become, to sober up. It's only here in the Greek Bible. These 1 and 2 Timothy are full of these words that are very rare, at least in terms of the Greek New Testament and the Old for that matter. So ananapho is to sober up, and so they might sober up, or perhaps come to their senses, another way of translating it, from the pagis, from the snare of the devil. They literally, having been caught, literally taken alive, so having been caught by him, whoever that is at the moment, it's something like according to his will. So it's very elliptical, and there's many different translations of this. So those who have been caught alive or caught by him, presumably that's must be referring back to the diabolos, because it's the nearest noun we've got there. So being caught by him, resulting in his will, so for his will, almost according to his will. Others take it to mean that that in order that so that they might and this is subjunctive here, and that they might sober up, or perhaps come to their senses, almost escaping from the snare of the devil, being caught up, understand, by God, in regard to the will of him, that is God's will. There are you need to look at the commentaries here, there are various different translations and interpretations of this very difficult verse here. And that is the end of chapter 2.